What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Episode 13, Flickin Off. And today we chose to link Donnie Darko to Sisters Brothers. Sisters Brothers, the most John C. Reilly movie you can watch, directed by Jacques Audiard, who is a French director. And this was the only movie, I think, at the time when this came out, he made that was in English. And it's a really good, I don't want to call it a Western because it's really not. It's a Western for sure, but it's more of like a dramatic. This movie, I really can't put a genre on it. IMDb gave this movie a 6.9, I believe it was, when you look at the user rating for this.
That's pretty good.
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair too.
I think that's a fair rating. I would have gave it a 7. I would have just evened things out just because I love this movie so much. And let's just get into the cast real quick before we even start talking about this movie in depth.
Well, how did you link it?
All right, that's a good. So I linked this movie to Donnie Darko through Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal, obvious star in Donnie Darko, which God, we only got 20 views on a cult fucking classic. Get your
you got it.
Come on, guys. It's
we
Donnie Darko.
It's Donnie Darko, bro.
I mean, what?
I mean, you know what? So from here on out, we're just doing whatever the fuck we want. We said it. Fuck it. Fuck doing Dogma shit or Donnie Darko. Yeah, we're not doing cult classics anymore, guys. You fucking ruined it. So start watching the show more. But I linked it through Jake Gyllenhaal. Obviously, Jake Gyllenhaal made Donnie Darko what it was, in my opinion, in your opinion as well. I think I'm quoting Jacob here from last episode. This movie doesn't do what it does without Jake Gyllenhaal. So because of that, I don't want to say directly because of that, because I watched a slew of films last week trying to pick the link for this one. I ended up watching 5, and it was a tie between 2. And I went with this film because I resonated with it a lot. It's not really a Western about people shooting out and stuff. Basic synopsis, guys. The movie itself is called Sisters Brothers. It's based off of a book. Don't have the author's name in front of me. This isn't a book podcast. I'm sorry.
Patrick DeWitt.
Wow, Patrick DeWitt. Okay, thank you, Jacob. Yeah, nice. So he's the reader in the family anyway. So, so this book was written in 2010 or 11, I want to say, and it's not really. It's kind of one of those books, from what I was reading on the reviews, that's got everything. It's love, it's got heart, it's drama, it's weird, it's violent, it's all these things. And upon John C. Reilly and his wife reading this book, they instantly fell in love with it. John C. Reilly immediately saw himself as the role of Eli, and they bought the rights, and he spent 8 years trying to get this film made. The cast consists of John C. Reilly, obviously. I've just been fucking saying his name over and over again. But the co-star was, and this was crazy to me, Joaquin Phoenix, especially at the time, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Riz Ahmed, man, which in this film, Riz Ahmed really did play a role that made this movie kind of like what I was saying, not a Western. He brought this solid, really good, wholesome character, which is hard to get in Hollywood. I think as an actor, when you're searching for a role in Hollywood now, it's really hard to find a role that's completely good, right? Like the audience knows it from the start to the finish.
Yeah. He's a really interesting actor too, some of his choices. I mean, I'm a big fan of Nightcrawler with him and Jake Gyllenhaal. And,
right. Great movie.
Yeah.
Great fucking movie. Nightcrawler was insane. I liked him in that new movie that just came out with, God, I suck at names. He was in Sicario.
What this idiot is
Josh
trying to
Brolin,
say
or
is
no, the other guy, the
Benicio
Hispanic,
del Toro.
the Hispanic
in the movie
actor.
he's trying
He
to
was just
remember
in that new movie,
is
One
the
Battle After
Venetian
Another, as
Game.
well. But anyways, that's neither
Yeah.
here nor there. I like Ahmed. I think Ahmed was great. But in this role, in this film, this is my favorite from him by far. I wanted to do a couple shout outs to the cast as well. Allison Tolman, who for those that don't know, is the lead character or one of the lead characters. I'd say she's like, if we're going off The Office, it goes Michael Scott and then maybe Pam, maybe Dwight. I don't know, but Allison Tolman has a lead role in the new NBC series Saint Dennis, and she's
Okay.
phenomenal in it. And she plays a very small role in this movie. She actually plays a hooker in a scene with John C. Reilly. That's really wholesome, really beautiful scene. She did a really good job. Just wanted to shout her out because it was a very small role, but she's a major superstar right now. Season 2 is on its way for St. Dennis, and I'm really excited about that. But yeah, man, let's get into this movie. First, I just wanted to ask Jacob, did you see it? Like, had you already seen it when I gave you the link? How long had it been? What did it do to you? What do you remember from it? What was it for
Basically,
you?
I had seen this movie one time, probably a year or 2 after it came out, probably a few years ago, basically. Saw it, liked it. I didn't remember a whole lot about it, but I remembered I liked it and I wanted to rewatch it at some point because my wife loves Westerns, so was definitely gonna come back to the Sisters Brothers. So when you mentioned it, one of the things you mentioned when we were talking was, like, how intricate, like, some of the set pieces were and
Oh,
how
man.
authentic they were, and it really brought you into it, and so, I mean, there's a ton of stuff to talk about, but I think that's one that we should definitely talk about. I
That
mean,
was
there's
the
a
chef's
scene
kiss
with,
for me
like,
in this film.
he's at the general store and Eli, played by John C. Reilly, now we both said his name, he picks it up and it's the guy's like, "That's a toothbrush, and you take this powder too, and you use it." And seeing him awkwardly use a toothbrush, a guy who had never used one the first time, like, stuff like that, it was really cool. There was some just little nuggets like that throughout the movie that were really cool,
Man, the
really
production
cool.
and design was insane, even when they were at camp, like, the utensils and the pans that they used to eat their food, like, it just was phenomenal. I loved everything about it. I don't know if that had a lot to do with Jock Oliard, but I think it did because he's a European director, and a lot of European directors are more character driven. They're not into the American action-packed shootout gun western nonsense, and I'm not gonna say it's nonsense. I just meant, like, in their opinion of it is nonsense. It's more of an art to European filmmakers and whatnot. I'm not saying they're all like that. I'm saying the renowned ones, guys, like the ones that are truly trying to capture a character's emotion. And speaking of character emotion, Joaquin Phoenix doing this movie was very different for me when it first came out. When I saw that it was John C. Reilly and I saw that it was Joaquin Phoenix, I was instantly like, I gotta see it. And it's just because of how massively different these two careers are. And I'm not trying to like put everybody in the same boat, but for me, John C. Reilly, I know he's been in Hollywood for years. This man, look, I mean, he's got a bunch of credits on IMDb. He's been in the game for a long time. He's been in a lot of great movies throughout the 90s. One of them was What's Eating Gilbert Grape, had a small role in that. That was a great film. Another one was this baseball movie with the guy that's in Yellowstone, Kevin Costner. I forget what the movie's called, but
Oh my gosh, I gotta think
God, I
of it.
can't think of it
Field of
right now.
Dreams.
No, it's not Field of Dreams. That's a baseball movie Kevin Costner's in, but this one was like where he threw a it's called A Perfect Game. That's what it's
Okay.
called. A Perfect Game, I think is what it's called. But anyways, he's been in the game for a long time. But for me, I only knew him after Step Brothers. And then I started seeing him in other things. Like I would pick him out. Talladega Nights, of course. Like those two for me and what gets me going to the theater was those two movies. And when I
Yeah.
saw Joaquin Phoenix next to this guy and it's a Western, it just piqued my curiosity to a point where it was like, purchase. I bought this movie on Amazon when it first came out to stream, and I paid a hefty penny for it. It's one of those ones, I don't know if I remember telling you about that stupid fucking movie The Bikers or the with Austin in it and
Yeah,
fucking
the one you were hyped
The
about
Bike
that you ended
Riders,
up
that's what it
not
was
liking.
called. I was super hype about it, and I spend like $20 on Amazon to purchase the film. Then the very next day, it comes out on Peacock for free. And guess what, guys? Spoiler alert: I fucking hated that movie. That movie sucked. Did not. I'm not gonna say it sucked. I'm not gonna say it sucked. It wasn't what I thought it was gonna be,
Yeah.
and judging by the ratings, it certainly wasn't either. But let's just get into the synopsis of this movie. This movie basically is about two brothers, the sisters brothers, played by John C. Reilly and Joaquin Phoenix, and they have a troubled life, and they end up being killers. They end up being killers based out of like the 1850s, I think it was, during this time
Yep.
period. They were basically hired men for wealthy individuals to kidnap certain people or to get certain work done that they weren't going to do themselves. And there is a chemist that the sisters brothers get called to kidnap with the help of a detective who's played by Jake Gyllenhaal. The detective is played by Jake Gyllenhaal, and the chemist is played by Ahmed. What's his last name, Jacob? It's
Riz Ahmed.
Riz Ahmed, and it's a really great story. I mean, it's a perfect story for a film, and basically that's a synopsis. They get hired to find this chemist who has found this divine fluid that when you pour it into the river water, it shows you where the gold is. It highlights the gold in the river water, which for history lesson folks, back in the 1800s, people were traveling all around the world by horseback to go to these rivers and hopefully get rich off gold and start a life for themselves. So that's pretty much the gist of the movie. These guys are chasing, and then there's a bunch of complicated character driven stuff that happens in between, and it becomes this very beautiful story. And yeah,
Because
that's pretty.
really, I mean, as a rewatching it this time, you really a lot of the bulk of what you would consider the plot of this movie happens in the second half, for
Right.
sure.
For sure. You're
Mm,
getting to know the sisters brothers in the first half
yeah,
and that whole
yeah.
dynamic, and then it goes in to the morality of it, like what it was like in that time period during this situation, like
And
it
John C. Reilly is just dropping nugget
phenomenal.
after nugget about their history and what's
Yeah.
happened to them over the years, and you're just like, "Whoa, okay, now you get why the Sisters Brothers are sorta
Even
who
the
they are."
dream when he wakes up after he get bit by the spider and he feels better, he throws up the spider babies, and that dream that he had of like their father chopping up bodies with an axe, like it just was insane. It's a really good film, guys. It was really thought out. Like I said, John C. Reilly spent 8 years making this movie. John C. Reilly, this was a passion project of his, and it's something that he wanted to do. I think the show's pretty big on passion projects. If I do say so myself, I think this is like the 4th or 5th passion project from a director that we've done. But it's just movies that we like, guys. That's pretty much all it is. Movies that have shaped us in some way. And this movie definitely did when I first saw it, because it's not a Western. It's a Western, but it is and it isn't. It's just so much more complicated than that. It makes you think about that the time period, like what was around, what wasn't around, where we were going as a culture, as the people of the United States. Like that one scene where they get to San Francisco and they got all that cash and all this loot on them,
Yeah.
and they get in the hotel and they see the running water and they're pulling the chain to flush the toilet, and they're just hella surprised. Like, again, the production design was phenomenal. But John C. Reilly,
Dude,
after
that
reading,
I wrote some notes about that too, like, when they go to that fancy hotel and decide, "We're gonna live it up for a night," like you said, I love parts of a Western that make you see the way things are changing so fast and how time is,
yeah, we talked about it
technology
when you were
is
talking about train
progressing
dreams.
really fast, and you see that in this movie all through it, like, you know the toothbrush, the running water, the hot water, just all the things that they're experiencing for the first time as adult men we have crazy technologies now. We have leaps forward, but it's very rare that you're like, "Wow, this is crazy." You know what I mean? Like
I mean,
something new. I mean,
even in their dialogue, when they would be like, "When did they leave? 4 days ago." And he says it like, "Fuck," like 4 days of traveling, like, fucking A, man, because like you said, there were no planes back then. Everybody's hoofing it on fucking horse. Yeah, no, but the history of this pretty much is what we just said. John C.
yeah.
Reilly's passion project. He read the book, instantly wanted to get it made. He hunted down the author. I don't know what the deal was. I tried looking that up and I could not find the numbers on the deal, what that author was paid or nothing. So I don't
Yeah.
think that was public knowledge, but it had to be a hefty penny, I'm sure.
But it was basically the year it came out too. So, like, as soon as the book came out, John C. Reilly must have read it and was like, "Ooh, I want."
Immediately, immediately, he said it was within a month after reading the book that he got the deal made to,
Yeah.
like, get the rights, which I think that's crazy for an author, right? Like, if you're an author and you write a book and it gets published or you publish it, however, and then, like, a renowned actor said John C. Reilly's a renowned actor, folks, like,
Yeah.
this man is in the game, has been in the game for a long time, reaches out to you and
I
goes,
This is, like, something I didn't write in my notes, but I remember hearing in, like, a print interview or something about John C. Reilly, and they asked him, like, "Why don't you do interviews or talk that much that are, like, serious interviews about your career?" And he was like, he doesn't wanna talk about himself because he thinks part of, like, if you can have a mystique about who you are as a real person, he doesn't want people to know who he is as a real person, then he can really get to do all these different things. And he's got one of the most varied careers of
he
any
does.
actor. I mean, when he
He's
does
all over the
comedy,
place.
he does straight comedy. And when he does drama, he does drama. Like, he can do both. I mean,
Very
like,
talented.
Adam Sandler can pull that off, right? But it's something different about the way John C. Reilly does it where, like, it's just crazy. It's insane, you
I
know?
mean, I never really appreciated John C. Reilly until this film, and it's why I picked it. It's what really made me see the serious side of John C. Reilly, and, I mean, spoiler alert, guys, when I picked this movie, I didn't know the story about John C. Reilly buying the script and, you know, him like, dude, he put the cast together himself. He found the director. He
Yeah.
convinced that director to make this film. He was on a hunt for a director to make the specific book that he had just purchased the rights to film a movie for 2 or 3 years. And the director was so renowned and he had won this really prestige. I think it's called a Palme d'Or
Palme
award,
d'Or, yeah.
Palme d'Or award. He had just won for the last film that he had did before he signed on to this. And I read a lot about John C. Reilly and Jacques Audiard's conversations and what was said. I watched a lot of interviews between these two. And Jacques at first was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm not, he's never been interested in Westerns or any of that. And John C. Reilly and his wife had many dinners with this man trying to convince him that it wasn't just a Western. Like, yes, it's based in that time period, but this is more about two brothers who love each other and have a hard time communicating it. And because of their troubled past, they live this life of being murderers, basically. And they were really good at it. And the film did a beautiful way of showing just like how killer these guys are. Like, they're not, you don't fuck around with the Sisters Brothers. Like, they annihilate. Like, I think there was this one barnyard shootout where it was like 8-on-2 and one of them's drunk and they're just trying to get on their horses. They get approached and they take them all down right there in the barnyard. Like,
Well,
but
and
yeah,
when
like
this movie gets brutal or when it has, like, actual violence, it's
it's
nasty.
it's
It gets
nasty. It's
gory, it gets bloody, they show it. This is
and I
one of
think
those "we're gonna show you" movies, like, we're gonna show it.
John C. Reilly saw what Jacques could do in that
Yeah.
instant. in that sense. Like, and it was good, man. It was a really good film. But when he could so he read the book, I think is what ended up happening, and he agreed with what John C. Reilly was doing, called him back and said, "Yes, let's do it." And when he got on board, this is why Joaquin Phoenix wanted to do the film because this is for the listeners, like, I know this is going to sound nerdy as fuck, but I basically am. But Joaquin Phoenix is probably the best actor I've ever seen in my entire life on screen. And I'm not just saying that. Like, Joaquin Phoenix, as far as characters go, like, he embodies the character. He has a way of acting that not very many actors go about. This
Yeah.
man truly embodies, and even for this movie, during those drunken scenes, he would be on set drinking. He was one of the only ones allowed to do it. He actually drank to the point of getting that inebriated and doing these fight scenes and these, like, they're pissed drunk at the campfire and they're having all this dialogue. Not only that, Joaquin only would agree to do this if because the only aspect that drove Joaquin doing it was the director, and he was really enamored by the playing a brother, like the brotherly aesthetic of it. It wasn't so much as it being a Western and a shootout. He doesn't give a fuck about any of that, guys. This guy and the way he chooses roles it's phenomenal. He always chooses a character that is struggling with something, whether it be a relationship with something that's weird, whether it be drugs or alcohol, whether it be violence. It's always something, and it's done beautifully. And
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, he gets to, like, really, he gets to do this in other roles too, but he really gets to play a jerk in this role. Like, Charlie Sisters is really he's an asshole in a lot of scenes to a lot of people, and, we learn later on Eli has been cleaning up Charlie's messes his entire life, basically.
right.
But, I mean, Joaquin really does kill it in this role. Uh, he does so much. Like, it's crazy. I know when people have dialogue, sometimes you don't get. I mean, this is a book, so it's a little bit different. But sometimes it's like you just don't get how they're gonna make something interesting, and Joaquin can make even really basic stuff super interesting. Like, he kills it in this. I mean, I don't know what else to say really about that. I don't
Dude,
I just
he's
he
phenomenal.
does
I
a
mean,
really
dude,
good
like,
job. I
the
you know
dedication to role aspect of being an actor there is nobody beating him as far as I'm concerned.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio, like, maybe we could choose a couple other actors, but, like, I mean, honestly, for me, it's Joaquin Phoenix. But not, and just to speak to role dedication, Joaquin Phoenix and John C. Reilly spent damn near a whole month together. They lived together for 2 or 3 weeks, eating meals together, talking about family dynamics, having conversations about what these brothers were like, who was who did what. They developed a real relationship, and it shows on screen, and it's really good.
Yeah.
And that's why I love this movie from the jump. As soon as it came out and I watched it, I knew I found a gem. I don't remember it being in theaters. I don't remember seeing, previews for it or anything like that. But I remember back in that time period, I had just gotten out of the army, and I was, like, trying to figure out and I wasn't watching too much TV around that time. But um dude, when I read, like, what Joaquin did to, because, and again, like, guys, he's not into studios, he's not into sales, and, I mean, he was into awards, I think, after the Joker
He's
got him, what
into
he was
acting, he's into
right,
the role, like, he's there
yeah,
for the work,
he's for
like,
the
he
art,
loves the work of it.
yeah. I mean, dude, for when we were talking about earlier, I think this week when he did the Joker, the director mentioned something to him. Didn't even tell him he had to do it, but mentioned, he's like, "Man, I really see this character just skinnier." like, and for
Yeah.
whatever that means. And dude, he did not eat. He ate only an apple for a month and smoked cigarettes and lost 20 pounds. And like, I want to say it was a month from what I remember in my head, what I
Yeah.
read, to do the role of the Joker. And it got him a fucking Oscar. So, dude, this got flowers to Joaquin, flowers to John C. Reilly for getting this director that pulled in Joaquin Phoenix, but not only Joaquin Phoenix, our link, Jake Gyllenhaal, who
Yeah. What
he
did you
said
think of his accent in this?
I loved his accent in this. I thought it was so fucking authentic. And for Jake Gyllenhaal, he loves characters.
I thought it was so unique. I was really like, it's such a choice, and he went with it, and I was like, okay,
It
cool,
was
he's going there.
I thought it was perfect, and he did it the entire film. He did not let up, not
Oh
one
yeah,
bit. I was
no,
looking
no,
for
yeah.
that.
If you're gonna go with it, you gotta go for it. Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal to me, when I think of him as an actor, and I've never had a conversation with him, I don't stay
Yeah.
up all night watching interviews, but I think he likes roles where the character's caught in their head a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
that character that he played, the detective in this movie, the way he spoke a sentence, it's almost like he ran through it in his head 12 times before he spoke it. It was so perfect the way he delivered everything he fucking said before he said it. And it was beautiful with that accent. I thought he murdered it. And he did say in an interview the only reason he wanted to do this film was because of Jacques Audiard. He said that Jacques Audiard, and I'm quoting, Jacques Audiard is one of those directors that you don't even need to know what it is. You just want to be in the movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. So that's pretty much why this movie is what it is. But again, the most flowers given is got to be to John C. Reilly for even like spending all that time trying to get this director, figuring out what the movie was going to look like. Like we said, the production design is one of the things that draws you in and hooks you into these characters. If these characters were walking around something that wasn't realistic, it wouldn't have stuck. It would have seemed corny. And, too many people just shit on things before they actually see what went into making something like this. And I really enjoyed it, man. I mean, it's really one of those, it's like it's a Western, but it isn't. And there's
Yeah.
some movies that come out, it's like it's a comedy, but it isn't. Like, I think one of the things that's coming to my mind is this movie called Funny People with Seth Rogen and Adam Sandler. Like, it starts off as a comedy, like it's pretty funny, but it's really about being a human and, your lost love that you lost way back in the day and getting back, like getting back. Like, it's really like one of those. But
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I love this film. I thought it had a bit of fucking everything in this shit for
I
real.
really like I'll just point out some of or talk about some of the aspects I liked. I like, even though it was gruesome, I like that aspect of the injured horse, the horse that was injured by a bear. And like,
I got a question for you about that.
yeah,
I actually wrote down a question about the horse. That scene where he goes to give the water horses towards the end of the movie after they're about to you know, find the gold, use the serum to find the gold right before he's bringing pails of water to the horses, and one of them got off and
yeah.
he's laying on the rocks dead. It doesn't explain how he got away, like how that thing broke. And I'm thinking like maybe the horse was just in so much pain it killed itself. Like it just jumped off the
I
cliff.
don't know exactly what happened, but it's funny that you mentioned that because I was wondering too, and I don't know, maybe my wife will have a theory about it because I was wondering, I was wondering some of the same things you're talking about. Like, did the horse gnaw through the rope and then
Right.
run off? All I could think was, this is where my head went. I don't know why. Was maybe he had some kind of brain infection because he had an
He had like a
infection in his
green
eye
eye.
and in his
Yeah.
head for several days at this point, maybe even over a couple of weeks, and that he sort of just
Went
went
bad.
crazy.
Yeah. Like I thought he killed himself. I thought he was like, fuck this shit. I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, like, so that was I thought the stuff with the horse was interesting. Obviously, if you want to, we can go ahead and talk about some of the stuff at the end. I mean, basically, the gold prospecting, you know, when they get into all that stuff and some of the things that I read on IMDb and other places this was a real method of prospecting using these chemicals, and it was a mixture of cyanide and the other thing I heard two different things was either sulfuric acid or mercury, but either way, it's all toxic shit that they're dealing with, right? And so, basically, for anyone who hasn't seen it, what happens is this guy that has this technology that they were searching for or whatever is some sort of chemical solution that when you pour it in the water at night, it highlights sort of like a glowing neon where the gold is so that they can take their shovels and just scoop it up out of the river.
Or their hands, pretty
Yeah,
much, or, like, anything that they have, like, it's that was the
but
whole thing
when
about
they were
prospecting
using it,
gold.
this guy, the guy who's using it had already warned them about burns, so he knew that it could be dangerous, and they're using a precise measured amount to dump into the river, and even then, the guy was like, "Hey, if you start to feel any burning, you get out of the water, like, now and go rinse off." And we get the wild card, right? I mean, the
Look,
wild
Joaquin
card
Phoenix,
is
man.
Charlie's sisters. He's the wild card through the whole movie, and he decides when the neon starts fading, he starts freaking out. It's going away. It's going away. He goes and gets the big vat of the
Uh,
solution
the
and
whole
goes to
thing.
dump it in the water. And when he does, he gets it all over himself in the process, like especially all over his arms. And as you can imagine, this stuff is toxic
It was
and it's
brutal to
acidic
watch.
and they basically all get pretty bad chemical burns except for Eli, because it's the four of them hanging out at this point. You've got Jake Gyllenhaal, Riz Ahmed, Joaquin Phoenix, and John C. Reilly. And when you see them sort of recuperating, so to speak, or like after the event, you see Joaquin and not John C. Reilly, Joaquin and Jake
And Riz Ahmed
Gyllenhaal
and Jake
are
Gyllenhaal
pretty beat
drenched
up,
in the
and you're
stuff.
like, man, they're doing bad. And then Eli goes in the tent with Riz Ahmed, and you're like, oh, you thought they were bad? Nah, he's fucked. Like he is fucked up, man. And he doesn't
Well,
make it much longer. We only see him
he
like a
don't.
couple of scenes, and he's dead.
Dude, Jake
And
Gyllenhaal got it so bad, he blows his fucking self out of the water.
yep,
Yes, the pit like, dude, it was a
Joaquin has to get his arm
arm cut
amputated.
off, and then while he's getting his arm cut off, like, right after, some bounty hunters come to get him, and like, Eli goes out and just destroys all of them, like,
Yeah.
single-handedly just destroys all of them, like they've been doing throughout the movie. Like, I thought that was one of the key parts.
Rex was one of the bounty hunters, played by Richard Brake. I know I've mentioned him
Okay.
before, but for any fans, I gotta throw him out there.
No, yeah, yeah, for sure. No, it was just the story was really cool, and when they told me it was a book, it made total sense. I was like, "There's nobody in film coming up with something this great." Like, but the whole chemical aspect of it, the fact that the whole dynamic of these characters coming together in like a crash sort of way was Jake Gyllenhaal was a detective hired to find the chemist and then write the sisters brothers their location, and the sister brothers would arrive and do the torturing to extract the information from the chemist to make their own serum for this rich guy who I forget his name.
The
What was his
Commodore, and it was played by Rutger Hauer, and he didn't it's crazy because he's a pretty famous actor, and, like, he's literally just a flash in a couple of scenes with
he
no
didn't even
lines.
have dialogue. Yeah, like he
No,
was
but
in the
he's got,
window.
like but he's got, like yeah, so that was cool because he's got such a presence in the characters' minds throughout the film. They're always talking about the Commodore, the Commodore. Everybody is talking about the freaking Commodore.
He represents the corporate greed at that time. Like he represented what the violent world that time period was. And Riz and what's his name? God, I keep
Riz
Ahmed
Ahmed.
Riz Ahmed, his character represents what the Sister Brothers wanted it to be. They wanted that new life. Like he even says it in the film, like we're creating a commissary where, it's a true democracy driven by laws and the righteous of man and making moral decisions. And he explained that to Charlie's sisters and played by Joaquin Phoenix, and he laughs in his face. I mean,
Yeah,
like, because he can't see a world where he's not this violent hitman, like, and they argue about it. Him and Eli argue about it throughout dude, it's one of those, it's like a character film. It's
yeah,
the brothers being portrayed was phenomenal.
yeah,
The 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 relationship between the chemist and the detective was phenomenal. Like how
yeah.
he convinced him like to make a moral decision, and like we could go into this together. We're both smart men. And then the sisters brothers get there, and then they're getting attacked. They gotta unhandcuff them or they're all gonna die. They kill everybody. Dude, it
It's
was just
another
like
one where all the minor characters are very powerful too, just
right.
like we were talking about the Commodore, and, like, you've got different prostitutes and shopkeepers, and, like, they all seem to, like, really, like, or their mother at the end, we see their mother at the end, and, like, she's only in the film for a few minutes, but they got, like, an Oscar-winning actress, Carol Kane, like, she's awesome, like, that was cool, so, you
I
know.
thought the whole whore scene with with Eli and the whore and him trying to get her to play the woman that he's constantly thinking about with that
Yes.
scarf that he's sniffing throughout the whole film.
One of my notes is about the red shawl because the way, like, it's just so cool. It's, like, just such a little
That's
thing.
probably how it was for a lot of folks back then, man. Like,
Yeah,
that's all you got. Like,
and also this idea that, like, the brother would rib him about it, like, he'd give him
yeah,
a hard time about it, like, make fun of him a little bit. Like, I think that's funny, like, it's
it
real,
is
like you
funny.
said. Like, and the way they, the brothers' relationship, they cut each other's hair at different times in the movie, and,
The way they talk to one another, dude, like, "Oh, you gonna pout about it?" Like, dude,
yeah,
it was good, man. It was some
and
good
then,
act.
basically, when we were talking about this movie, I said what this movie became for me, like, watching it this time, it really is about Eli, John C. Reilly's character. As the movie goes on, he starts, like I was saying, dropping all those nuggets about their family history and how basically Charlie's just gotten him into mess after mess after mess, and he's been rolling along with his brother trying to help him out and trying to get him out of mess after mess and trying to work their way out of this, and that he has dreams, he wants to, like, open a little general store somewhere and, like, just it it his character is way different than he's perceived for a good portion of the movie as the viewer, and then you find out, like, who he really is, and I just thought that that's really cool, like, and maybe that's one of the things that drew John C. Reilly to it is because he gets to be that guy, like, he gets to be that guy, so that's
Like I said in the beginning, man, this is the most John C. Reilly movie anybody is gonna get. I mean, he stars in the fucking thing. This movie doesn't exist without John C. Reilly. Again, he put this whole thing together. So, I mean, kudos to him, man. I mean, the story was great. The shout out to the author again. I mean, that was just a really beautiful movie. And it was a surprise for me. It wasn't one of those films that like I saw and was like, "Oh, this is going to be awesome." Again, like I saw Joaquin Phoenix and John C. Reilly's face next to one another, and I'm like, "What?" Like just what? Like,
yeah, in a
like
Western? Yeah.
in a
No, that was one
western?
reason I definitely had to see it. I'm just taking a peek at my notes and making sure there's nothing I wanna. Well, I think this is, like, even if we just spend a minute on it, like, Guys, there's a scene in this movie where a spider goes into
Oh,
John C. Reilly's mouth while he's sleeping, and he wakes up, and it looks like he had a fucking stroke or something, and his face is swollen, and it doesn't work right, and, like, this is the kind of shit that, like, people had to deal with, you know? There is definitely some if you're one of those old school people and you played Oregon Trail back in the day, there's some
yeah.
Oregon Trail shit happening in this movie for real. Like, that was a crazy scene.
And when he throws up at the next day after he heals and it's all the baby spiders and you realize, like, the spider not only went into his mouth, it bit him and laid eggs inside of his body. Like, it's disgusting, bro. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, I think we gotta mention this too. I should have mentioned it when I was talking about Eli and talking about his brother and everything. He also drops the bombshell that Charlie killed their father when they were younger. And
Oh, yeah.
what bothers him about that is not that he killed his father, it's that Eli didn't do it because he's the older brother. And instead, Charlie had to do it because he really feels like that changed him. Like Charlie was different after that, and he was never the same. So, you know, that's a crazy, big thing. Um,
I really loved the way, like, the set and, dude, the production design, man. I mean, everything that they used looked in that time period. When they were at camp, when the detective and the chemist were at camp in Jacksonville with all the wagons surrounding them, and there's a couple of campfires going on. And, like, again, throughout this whole film, guys, there's a lot of scenes when they're traveling on the Oregon Trail, so to speak, and there's no fucking light. Like, the director uses zero light. The only light you get in the beginning of the film is from gunfire. And I always, in my mind, I kept wondering, like, why would someone choose to do that? But back in the 1850s, dude, there was no fucking electricity. And if there was, you were lucky to have it. So it's like, it wasn't something that folks had throughout, like, your travels in that time period. And they
yeah,
showed that. Like, they showed that with the only light on some of the dialogue amongst the characters at the campfire is the campfire. And if there was no campfire, there was no fucking light. I even
yeah,
remember when they were traveling through the rainstorm and the only light you got in those scenes were from the lightning. And you saw, like, the trees and the
yeah,
characters' faces, and it was just fucking phenomenal, dude. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I really enjoyed this fucking movie
I
for
love I
sure.
love little details like that,
Me too.
when they use,
That's what
like, all
makes this
natural
shit.
lighting and stuff. And that's the kinda stuff that, like, this thing got a standing ovation at the Venice International Film Festival, and it's all because of stuff like that, you know? Trying to see if there's anything else. Oh, yeah, I thought this was interesting because this is a detail that I don't think I would've picked up on unless I had read it, like, so the Sisters Brothers would have been using, like, the best guns they could get back then. Well, in the early '80s in 1851, they hadn't come up with cartridges yet, like, what we would call bullets, like, so what they were actually using in those guns, and you see them one time in the movie near the end of the film, what they would do is you would take the revolver out of the pistol, and you
The
had to
cylinder.
load each
Yeah.
one with, like, powder and shot just like you would like an old, musket or
Yeah.
something, and then put that back in. That was like some fancy technology. It was a real hybrid mix of like old school and new school together. But like they were on the cutting edge, the Sisters Brothers. That would have been like the fancy guns for sure.
It's
Like,
funny you even fucking said that because I rewatched it this morning, and that's exactly what I thought. That last gun scene at the river when the chemist and the detective and the Sisters Brothers meet for the first time and they're handcuffed, and it's right before that. I was thinking, like, why is he taking out the whole cylinder of the revolver
yeah.
and, like, putting it back? And I was like, I had to do some Googling, guys. Like, I had to Google,
Yeah.
like, what the fuck, like, they were like, because back then, bullets had not been made yet. Like they weren't made, and if they were only used in the military. So it was like, but I think it just fits more to the point. Like the production design, everything about this film was spot on. The acting was spot on. The directing was spot on. The certain little details, like I just pointed out with the light, like you pointed out with everything else you said, this shit is phenomenal. It is one of my favorite, if not my favorite Western of all time. But enough of all that motherfucking shit, because it's time to get.
I got one more thing to throw in there before
You're holding up, everybody, Jacob.
Just
we're all aboard.
One more thing.
All right, let me hear.
We would be remiss if we did not mention this.
Okay.
John C. Reilly plays Johnny Cash in a movie called Walk the Line, right?
No,
Famous
he doesn't play.
No.
Joaquin
Phoenix. See, look, I already screwed it up.
John C. Reilly plays a spoof about.
He plays the spoof version in Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Right.
And that's funny. I basically almost messed it up. But we've got to mention that, right?
I mean, people already know that. I'm so glad you did, because I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's, you know,
that's
they did
probably
this
why
movie
Joaquin
together.
knew about John C. Reilly and wanted to work with him.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the reasons, for sure. No, that's
because
cool.
Both of them are really good movies. Walk the Line and Walk Hard are, I mean, Walk Hard is one of the funniest comedies because it doesn't just. It doesn't just spoof Walk the Line.
It does Ray.
All the like music, like biopics. It's really good. Really good.
All right.
So
well, sorry for all the commotion, folks, and for that terrible wait, but now it's time to get on that motherfucking hype train. Bam, 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 bam. Fuck yeah. And I got one that I had to switch up last minute, guys. I had one in mind.
Okay.
But I saw this one this morning. I don't get on social media that much anymore. And I got on social media today and I was just scrolling through and I saw this. It is called Driven.
Okay.
And it's the Paul Walker story. And the person portraying Paul Walker is the motherfucking phenomenal Charlie Huntman, who did Sons of Anarchy. He did a couple other great films that we all know and love. Like, I think one of his more famous ones was Snatch, if I'm not mistaken. He was in that.
Trying to say is
Lock,
Green
Stock,
Street
and Two
Hooligans,
Smoking Barrels,
starring
I think it was.
Elijah Wood
It was one with
and
Elijah
Charlie
Wood.
Hunnam.
I want to
Yes,
say it was Snatch,
Hooligans,
but I'm not
not
entirely sure.
Green Street
No,
Gang
Snatch
people
doesn't have
or
Elijah Wood in
that
it,
soccer
so.
brawl movie.
I think it's Lock,
Thank
Stock, and
you.
Two Smoking Barrels. But anyways, Charlie Hunnam, guys, Sons of Anarchy. Like, what are we fucking talking about here? Now, I saw the reviews of just people, because Netflix just announced this. It's going to be on Netflix. It's a documentary series film type deal, I think it is, or whatnot. I don't know exactly. There's not too much information. It's not even listed on IMDb yet. It's set for a 2026 premiere. But the reason I chose it and I switched it was because I remember when Paul Walker died, and that hit me hard. Paul Walker was like, for me and my growing up, like, I don't know if it was big for Jacob. He's got a 10-year age gap on me, but when I was growing up, Fast and Furious was one of the coolest fucking movies I'd ever seen when I was like 10 years old, 11 years old. And I just loved it so much, and it just became this phenomenal thing. I think they're still making fucking Fast and Furious movies. They've turned into like a Mission Impossible thing. I was recently reading up on it. Like, not all the original people are doing it anymore. They kind of got like tried to go away from it, and partly because Paul Walker passed away, and he was the heart and soul of that franchise. And I read a little bit about him. He was really into the ocean and the polluting of the ocean and everything. He was really into like saving the animals in the ocean and all that good stuff. He was just a really phenomenal person. And I saw like a bunch of reviews on Facebook of people like, why on earth would they get Charlie Huntman to play Paul Walker? Like, Paul Walker has a brother, and his brother is a spitting image of him. And I just want to take my big right smacking hand and give you a fucking smack across the big fucking Italian smack across the fucking face for saying some dumb shit like that. Paul Walker's brother, and if he is an actor, forgive me, but I don't think he's an actor.
You gotta be
so
fucking
why the
kidding
fuck
me.
would we cast him to be one?
Dude,
I get
after
he-
watching Charlie Hunnam in the Ed Gein show, we've been watching that. We haven't finished it yet. Dude, that dude can do anything.
He can
The
act,
stuff
man.
he does, like he can do anything. So before this, I don't know if I would have been like, I don't see that. I see it. I see it working.
I see it working. I mean, he's, from what I've read, the man has been given the keys to this guy's family, all of his friends, which he was close with every single cast member from Vin Diesel, Tyrese, Ludacris. They're all going to have a part on this show. I read, like, they're all going to be portrayed by different people. I don't have the cast list right in front of me. There are pictures of the actors that are portraying Vin Diesel and, you know, the person playing Michelle Rodriguez, but it's, these guys became a family on set and they want the story told. And I thought that was beautiful. And I'm real, like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, hype. So I had to change it. I'll give my hype train pick that I swap this one with next episode. So that's my fucking hype train. Choo choo, motherfuckers.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, I got one. You know, we're getting near the end of the year, so it's coming out in 2026 as well. Project Hail Mary. I'm sure you've heard of this one. You've probably seen a trailer out at the theaters. But
oh wait, is that Nicolas Cage portraying John Madden?
No.
Okay.
No, this is a space movie with Ryan Gosling called Project Hail Mary, coming out March 20th of next year. It's based on a book by Andy Weir, and this is the guy who wrote The Martian, basically. So
Oh wow.
they're taking his next book or one of his other books, Project Hail Mary, and making a movie out of it. The IMDb plot is science teacher Ryland Grace, played by Ryan Gosling, wakes up on a spaceship light years from home with no recollection of who he is or how he got there. As his memory returns, he begins to uncover his mission, solve the riddle of the mysterious substance causing the sun to die out. He must call on his scientific knowledge and unorthodox ideas to save everything on Earth from extinction. But an unexpected friendship means he may not have to do it alone.
Fuck, man. All right, hold on. I got to stop you right there. That synopsis was extremely just way out there compared to what I'm reading on IMDb. And I just want, for the sake of the show and the comedy of this show, I got two things to say. One, the synopsis I'm reading on IMDb literally just says, and I'm quoting, an astronaut tries to save Earth while alone in outer space. So I don't know where you got that book.
If you
that you
click
just
on
read
that, there's another plot right under
Hold on.
that.
And I got another thing to say.
That doesn't tell you
I got another thing to say. Why does your picture look like the inside of the briefcase in Pulp Fiction? That's all I got to say. I mean, Jesus. What is going on here? That synopsis was crazy. Where did you get that?
Because usually I'm shooting this podcast like a Jacques Arard movie, and I'm using natural light coming in, but it's dark and shadowy, so I'm using this crappy overhead light I got. But
folks,
basically, this trailer's been out for a while. Project Hail Mary, it's gonna be good. They're just piggybacking on the success of The Martian, trying to see if they can pull it off again. I think it's going to be good, but I think it's going to be hard to beat The Martian. So
I was just going to say that's a really good film. But
yeah,
you know, I love Ryan Gosling, don't get me wrong. I love him. I don't like him for this role. I wasn't a big, what's that film he did that was a remake of what Harrison Ford did? Trailblazer or something? It was like a Star Wars type film. Come on, man. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Now you've got me really perplexed.
Holy shit,
I don't
man.
keep up with the Star Wars shit. But
It's not Star
really
Wars.
Star Wars.
It's Harrison Ford did another movie in the 80s, and it was like Star Wars.
Oh, Blade Runner. You're talking about Blade Runner.
So Ryan Gosling, when he did Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Now remember,
I love Blade Runner.
I was in a relationship when that movie came out, and we went to go see it. And I remember the woman I was dating at the time loved it, but I didn't. I didn't like it so much. I just didn't understand it, and I don't like Ryan Gosling in roles like that. I much rather see Ryan Gosling like I love that movie he did with fuck man, I suck at fucking names, bro. And we're doing a movie podcast. I can't fucking think of it. He did that movie with the guy
I
that
love
was
that
in
we're having some
Gladiator.
fun and being a little silly at the end. Maybe it'll
Right,
be
right, right. But what's the guy in Gladiator? The Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
He did that movie with Russell Crowe about the
The
murder that
Nice
was on him.
Guys.
The Nice Guys, bro. That was a great movie. I mean, Crazy
Yeah.
Stupid Love. Great movie. Love Ryan in that. But when these more serious, like I'm an astronaut saving the world, or I'm a super agent that's a hitman also, like I don't miss Ryan. Know your role, dog. Like you got an award for Barbie. You got an award for Barbie, my guy, which he killed.
I gotta
love him in
disagree with
Barbie.
you. I gotta disagree with you. I think Gosling, he can pull off more than people think.
For me personally, I just like him in the less like serious. Well, I mean, he plays serious roles. Don't get me wrong. It's like he's a great actor. I just don't like him in the uber serious stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know
Well, I
what
think
it
this
is.
one's gonna, from the trailer, it looks like he's gonna add some comedy to it. Like he's trying to throw out some, he's probably has the most comedic lines probably in this
I'm
series,
looking at the
maybe.
trailer and I'm gonna see this movie. Like
Yeah.
I definitely am, just because of what you said. Like I love The Martian. I thought that was a phenomenal film, and it was widely successful. Then that movie come out 2016, so they're waited 10 years to mimic The Martian, huh?
Gosh, did The Martian come out that long ago? Yeah,
It
it's hard.
was. I think it hold on, I'm gonna look it up right now. It was like 2016 to 2018. No, 2015.
Wow.
I said 2016. Fuck.
Yeah.
Man, we're getting old, dog. Old as shit, dude. But no, that's a good one, man. I had never heard of it until now, so you got me hype as fuck for that one, dude, for
Yeah, hell
sure.
yeah. Project Hail Mary,
Project Hail Mary. When's it
I
come
can
out
speak.
again?
March 20th, 2026.
Yeah, our last couple of hype trains we've been doing has been next year.
Yeah.
I think the shit that's coming out now is just like, dude, I'm really excited about Begonia. I actually think for the show, for the sake of the show, Halloween, you and Amy go see Begonia. I'll go see Begonia, and then we can come back and we'll do a little segment on the next episode about it. I think we should do that. That'd be fucking dope. Because Begonia, you got me hyped for Begonia, dude. Like, I started reading about the film, and then like I started watching that director's shit, and it's good, man. And it's
Yeah.
and the actors that are going to be in this outside of Emma Stone, I'm really curious to see one of them who was in the ending of Breaking Bad. He played one of the guys that kidnaps the main characters in that story. But not only
Oh,
that, like
yeah. Jesse
he's been,
Plemons.
Jesse Plemons. He's been in a lot of great shit.
Yeah.
I think he was one of the roles that stupid movie Johnny Depp came out with about the Irish mob guy. He had a role in that film, and he was phenomenal in it. And it was the first time I'd ever seen Jesse Plemons, but the movie was whack. Hated that movie.
What is it?
Black Sea, or yeah, the Black Sea, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, it's Black something, I know, but yeah.
I'll tell you what, I don't even it's sad that I even mentioned it on this show, but since we're talking about Jesse Plemons, he killed it in that. I thought he was phenomenal in that. I just didn't like that I didn't like that movie so much. It
Yeah.
wasn't as Johnny Depp was good too, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to shit on nobody. It just wasn't my cup of tea. If it was yours, cool, comment, subscribe, like if you don't got no, if you're gonna sit here and just watch the video and talk shit, you should subscribe, dog. Okay? Don't just go to the dinner table and be like, these Flickin Off guys are fucking retarded. Black Sea was a fucking gem. Like, don't just talk about it, guys. Subscribe and talk that
He doesn't
shit,
even
okay?
know the name of the movie because I don't think it is Black Sea. I gotta look it up now.
All right, I'm about to look it up right now
before
we go. Before we go, I'm looking it up.
I'm gonna see who can get to it first.
It is Black Sea.
It is not Black Sea.
You're right. It's fuck. What is it? See, it's
I
such
keep-
a bad movie, you can't even find it. No one's talking about it or searching for it. I thought it was Black Sea, but
Oh shit! Now I got to go through Johnny Depp's catalog.
that's what I'm doing right now. It's the it's not the Black Gondola.
Black Mass. I got it right
Black
here.
Mass.
15
Okay.
Black Mass. Came out the same year as The Martian.
I know, it's like, it's weird when we start talking about movies, we subconsciously start thinking about movies in that time period. That's weird. It's because we're good at what we do and you need to subscribe. But that's our fucking show for episode 13. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, guys, we're getting a little discouraged. We thought Darko Day was going to be a good day, and it's just been a really dark day. Dark 2 days, dark 3 days. No, 2. It's been 2.
Yeah. So reach out to your buddy and share our Donnie Darko episode
dude,
with
look,
him and say, look, watch it. Watch it.
Listen, dude, like, if
Watch
you're
it.
watching this and, like, it's like, I knew Jacob from high school or I knew Mark from high school, like, dude, you need to subscribe, okay? Or if you're worried about me seeing your name, like, just, I don't care. Like, you can even make it to where we don't see your name. There's, like, I can only see 9 subscribers' names on YouTube.
That's weird how that works.
Ain't that weird? Yeah. But, nah, we were a little discouraged. Well, look, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to do what we've been reading we need to do, and we're going to keep going for it every Monday, 12 a.m. Me and Jacob are going to link this movie to another movie next episode, however the fuck we want. I mean, the director, the composer, if they did the lights, if they brought refreshments on set, if it was the producer, however the fuck we want, guys.
Dude, if we link through a caterer, that would be
wild. That would be wild. We've been trying to link movies in intricate ways because there's $100 prize on the line of this show's money. If you can comment, now the only rule is you got to be subscribed to the show and you have to comment on our latest video, like and comment on the latest video. Give us your guess of the movie you think we're going to link this one to. And if you're correct, no bullshit, we're going to send you $100, however the fuck you want, just how we link this show. So please.
And you'll go down in Flickin Off podcast history.
You will, man.
Nobody's done it yet, so you'll be the first.
Yeah, and I mean, part of the discouragement is like we keep going like, well, God, we're just so impatient. We've only done 12 episodes. This is episode 13. But yeah, we got a contest going. If you guess the movie we're going to link, we'll send you $100. And we're putting up $100 because you're not that smart and you're not going to guess what it is. If you were going to guess what it was, it would have been Donnie Darko, but only 20 people watched it. So I think you're good there. So yeah, Flicking Off episode 13 in the books. Jacob, you got anything you want to let these motherfuckers know before we go?
No, I think you got it all covered, man. Click on our links in the description for our hype train picks, man. See what it's about.
And we are releasing shorts on YouTube. If you're into YouTube shorts, man, dude, share that shit, repost that shit, comment on that shit, like that shit. You know, even if you don't like something we say on these fucking shorts we're releasing, dude, comment. It helps. I don't give a fuck. But this is Flicking Off. I'm Mark. That's my cousin Jacob. Coming to you next Monday, 12 a.m. We'll see you next time, guys. Peace.
Peace.